In a small, quiet village nestled at the foot of ancient mountains, there lived a young woman named Lila. Her heart was full of dreams, and her greatest aspiration was to become a renowned artist. From an early age, she had been captivated by colors, shapes, and the emotions they could evoke on a canvas. She spent every moment she could with a paintbrush in hand, capturing the world around her, the golden fields, the serene river, and the lively streets of her village. But despite her talent and tireless effort, success remained elusive. Her paintings were rejected by galleries, and the local market showed no interest in her work. Lila's friends and family would offer encouragement, telling her to keep going. But with each passing day, the weight of failure grew heavier. She felt as though she had reached a dead end, a point where no matter what she did, her dreams would never come true. One crisp autumn morning, feeling the weight of her unfulfilled dreams, Lila decided to leave her small cottage and wander into the forest. She needed a moment of solitude, away from the stares of disappointment and the echo of rejection. She walked for hours, her thoughts tangled in frustration, until she found herself by the edge of a quiet river. The sound of flowing water and the rustling of leaves brought a sense of calm, but her heart still felt heavy. As she sat by the riverbank, staring at the water's surface, an elderly woman approached her. The woman was dressed in simple, weathered clothes, and her silver hair shimmered in the sunlight. She had a gentle smile that radiated warmth and wisdom. "Are you lost, child?" the old woman asked kindly. Sitting down beside her, Lila shook her head, though she felt lost in her own way. "No, I'm not lost. I'm just stuck. My dream is to be an artist, but no one seems to see the value in my work. I've been painting for years, and nothing changes. I've reached a dead end. Maybe I'm not meant to be an artist after all." The old woman listened carefully, her eyes full of understanding. "Tell me, child," she asked, "how do you know you've reached the end?" Lila looked at the woman in confusion. "What do you mean? I've done everything I can. I've tried new techniques, painted different subjects, but nothing seems to work. I've been stuck at this point for so long, and it feels like I'll never get past it." This is life." Lila patted the woman, and she grabbed 2 tissues and gave them to Lila. The old woman smiled softly, her eyes twinkling. "A dead end is not always the end. Sometimes it's the moment, just before destiny reveals itself." Lila frowned, not fully understanding. "What do you mean?" "A dead end is a place where there's no way forward." "Not always," the woman replied. "Sometimes the dead end is simply a sign that you need to look at things differently. Think of a river that flows through the land. If the water encounters a large boulder, it doesn't stop. It moves around it, finds a way through, or even carves a new path. A dead end is not the final obstacle, but a turning point, a chance for transformation." Lila sat quietly, reflecting on the old woman's words. Could it be true? Could her dead end really be a turning point? She wasn't sure, but she decided to take the woman's advice to heart. That evening, as she returned to her cottage, she felt a glimmer of hope that maybe she hadn't reached the end of her journey after all. For the next few days, Lila decided to approach her art with fresh eyes. Instead of focusing on perfection or trying to paint what others might like, she allowed herself to explore without expectations. She painted for the sheer joy of painting, experimenting with new techniques and colors, letting her emotions flow onto the canvas. It was a liberating experience, and for the first time in months, she felt a sense of peace. One afternoon, while painting in the town square, Lila's work caught the attention of a well-dressed man passing by. He paused to observe her painting, and, after a few moments, approached her. "Your work is quite unique," he said, his voice carrying an air of authority. I am an art dealer, and I've been looking for fresh talent. Would you be interested in showcasing your paintings at one of my galleries in the city?" Lila's heart skipped a beat. She had never imagined that someone of such importance would notice her work. Her thoughts raced. Was this the moment she had been waiting for? The man smiled, sensing her hesitation. "Take your time to think about it, of course. But I believe you have something special here. You've found your own voice as an artist." End of chapter 5. Lila stood there, stunned. This opportunity was everything she had dreamed of, and yet it came after she had felt like she was at a dead end. She realized that in those moments of doubt and frustration, she had found the courage to break free from her expectations and embrace her true creative self. A few weeks later, Lila's paintings were featured in the gallery, and the response was overwhelming. People admired her unique approach, her ability to capture raw emotion through the simplest brushstrokes. The recognition she had longed for finally arrived, but not in the way she had envisioned. It came not from forcing her art into what others wanted, but from embracing the freedom to create what was in her heart. Pain flowed through her. One day, as Lila stood by the river once more, she saw the same old woman who had spoken to her months before. The woman smiled knowingly. "You've found your way, haven't you?" she asked. Lila nodded, grateful beyond words. "Yes, I have. I've realized that the dead end wasn't the end at all. It was just the beginning of a new path. My path." The old woman's eyes twinkled. "Sometimes the universe puts up walls not to stop us, but to help us grow stronger. When you face a dead end, don't see it as a final obstacle, but as a chance to redefine your journey. Your destiny often finds you in the moments when you least expect it, and it arrives not when you follow the path others lay out for you, but when you create your own." Lila smiled, feeling an overwhelming sense of peace. She understood now that her dead end wasn't a defeat. It was the moment she had needed to redefine herself, to discover her true voice, and to finally walk the path toward her destiny. Moral of the story: dead ends are not the end of the road. They are often the beginning of a new path. When faced with obstacles, remember that your destiny may be waiting just beyond the moment you feel most stuck. Trust the journey, and know that sometimes you need to take a step back to take a leap forward.